Oh yeah, it's the Medellin podcast.
Is it?
Episode what?
41?
Wow,
41?
41.
Wow.
Almost. Isn't that your age?
You know, I was 41 10 years ago, so now I'm 51.
Great. You got the grays? Down below the waist?
I've only got gray pubic hair.
Wow, well, so we just lost a few followers right there. People
No,
thinking about Andrew's gray pubic hair.
Capítulo 41 del Medellin podcast. Yo me llamo Andrew Macía.
Yo, Joel Duncan.
Y yo, Juan Diego Tello.
Yeah! Vamos a hablar de basketball. We're going to talk about basketball. Philanthropy.
We're going to talk about a lot of things.
A
A
lot
lot
of
of things.
things.
Hot
Lot
air
of things.
balloons.
Hot air balloons.
Yeah, we got that.
Cartagena might come up.
Surviving. Yeah.
Surviving, man. Being a
Okay.
survivor like Beyonce, man. We got there's some serious stuff
Destiny's
going on in
Child.
this episode today.
I got a question. Is this a song or it's
It's
just
just
his
freestyle.
ability
It's just
freestyle? You
freestyle.
just come in
Just
with
a freestyle.
Coming in-
Okay.
We're
Okay.
with Tello and the Medellin podcast, episode 41.
Where my maracas taught him everything he knows, and him too a bit about basketball.
All right, it's episode 41 of the Medellin podcast. My name is Andrew Macía.
I'm Joel Duncan.
And I'm Juan Diego Tello.
Juan Diego Tello, basketball player. Today is a very awesome podcast. As I was telling you guys before we started, that this is already my favorite podcast, and we didn't even start
Yeah.
because if anybody knows me, they know that I love basketball, and that since I was a child, I remember my first basketball game that I ever watched on television, which was the Lakers versus the 76ers. Charles Barkley dropped like 46 points, and I literally rewatch that every now and then on YouTube because it's on there. It's ridiculous. I'm stupid, but I know. And girls know that like literally Saturday, Sunday, I got to go play in Alfonso Lopez, en Manrique, en El Estadio, Ciudad Medellin.
They come second to basketball.
And
Yeah,
they
they
come
come second.
they
Yeah.
come second to like weekends and even during the week, gym, basketball, and then going on the weekend to play basketball. It's just one of those things that when I was a kid, I fell in love with. Maybe like you guys. But yeah, I'm very excited, Joel.
Whatever. Nah, just joking. No. It's a pretty exciting episode for because it's the first person that's a professional athlete that we've had on the show, and happens to be from Medellin, and happens to speak English, which makes my job a little easier today. and we have common friends like Joe, who was on the last episode, or was that the episode before?
Yeah.
Max, and the connections between us, were made a few years ago, and now it's sort of like we're coming back together
Right.
to talk. And I think we've got a lot of interesting things to talk about, a lot of hot topics, a lot of things that are going on in the world right now, which
For sure.
you guys know I'm bringing my leftist, right swing, whatever you guys want to call it. I'm
Your
bringing it on.
woke
My
attitude.
woke ass attitude is what this one person said. I'm bringing that here a little later, so don't think this
Yeah.
is all jokes and basketball.
So just so that you know, we're going to be doing about 30 to 45 minutes in. Are we doing English first?
English first.
English first, 30 to 45
Let
minutes.
this wine kick in.
And then 30 to 45 minutes in Spanish. Vamos a hacer la parte de inglés primero, 45 minutos en inglés, y después vamos a cambiar a español, porque somos así.
Sí,
Y lo podemos hacer.
Sí,
Lo
vamos a hacer
podemos
como
hacer.
dos episodios. Entonces, un episodio, episodio 41, uno en español, otro en inglés.
inglés.
Entonces, sí.
Sí, porque pues obviamente es muy importante esta información, nos encanta Medellín, nos encanta Colombia, queremos compartir lo que nosotros estamos experimentando acá con la gente en español también.
Claro.
So, empecemos en inglés.
So,
Let's
without
go.
further ado, I'm assuming that people ask you, you've been in front of the camera a few
Yeah.
times, so just a few times. So
Yeah.
introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, give them a little bit of detail, anything you want to talk about, and then we'll get all the other answers out of you.
All right. Yeah, man. I was born here in Medellin. My family is from Choco. But my mom moved here in order to give me like a better opportunity. I started playing basketball when I was 11. was not my passion. It wasn't my favorite sport when I was a kid. I used to play soccer.
Of course.
You know, and like any other Colombia, the first gift they give you is a soccer ball. So it's like I wanted to be like Pelé. But then I started playing basketball. I almost retired 3 weeks later because I wasn't good.
Okay.
Well, I retired. I didn't practice for like a month after that. And then all of a sudden, I was the best player in Colombia when I was 15.
Wow. You were the best player in Colombia at 15 years old.
Yeah. And then after that, I was looking to play professional in Argentina.
Okay.
Then this is a quick summary. Then we go later in details.
Give us that.
And then I got a scholarship to go to high school in New York. I got a host family. I graduated, got all the options I wanted to go to college, and I ended up going to the University of Louisville. Graduated in communications, and then after I had a couple injuries, so my path for the NBA kind of changed, and I started playing professional basketball overseas. I started in Spain, then playing Turkey, Lithuania, France, and been a champion in France and in Turkey, been best player of the Lithuanian league, and right now I'm playing in the Spanish league, which is considered the best after the NBA, with a team called Estudiantes in Madrid.
Okay.
Awesome. That's great.
Man, I hope that one day
that's
my
an
bio could
amazing
sound like
fucking
that. I'm like,
resume.
and then I was 30 and I met Andrew and we had some beers and we started a podcast. We do some workouts. I do some yoga in the
Stay
nights.
shape, yeah.
That's all I got.
I
That's-
play in a men's basketball league in
Andrew,
Medellin.
Andrew plays on a UPB. He plays on like Medellin's University.
I
League.
play for
I'm like,
the UPB alumni team.
Yeah.
But I never went to UPB. I'm not an
Oh,
alumni.
you're not, but you go
yeah,
there.
you
Hey,
went there. You snuck in.
that shows how professional.
Yeah,
Everything is.
I've been working hard for that.
So let's start a little bit at the beginning. You said your family is from Choco, and I just
Yeah.
want to put this. And you also said so your mom, I guess, moved you guys here to give you better opportunities at what age?
Like when I was about to be born, she wanted me to be born
Oh, so she
here.
moved
So
here.
she
Okay.
moved here, knowing that if we would stay in Choco, the opportunities, the school, the education, everything would have been really low. So she moved here and worked really hard, and we lived in Bello, and that's when she was coming from work and ran into a basketball coach in a bus.
Wow, that's some divine intervention. That's some
Yeah,
destiny.
like I said, I had nothing to do with the decision of I want to play basketball.
Right.
Nah, it was this basketball coach who saw me, and he was like, he saw my mom, and he was like, well, you kind of tall because she was sitting in.
Yeah.
My mom is like 6'5".
What?
Yeah.
Kind of tall. His mom is 6'5". I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
She's 6'5".
Yeah,
Wow.
my mom is 6'5", and
And she
so-
never played basketball.
No, she
or
never.
anything?
She never
Okay.
played basketball. So she was sitting in the back of the bus because
Her
their-
legs
their,
are-
their leg space, and next to her was a basketball coach. They start talking, like making jokes, like, "Oh, you're so tall. We need a limo instead of this bus." And he's like, "Do you have any kids?" And she was like, "Yeah, I have one." And he asked, "Well, is he tall like you?" He's like, "Yeah, he's 11, and he's like 6'2", 6'3".
11?
Yeah.
11
What?
at
So-
6'2" at 11.
No wonder I could never make it on the damn court. A guy that's
Holy
6.
fuck.
I was like 5.5. 5 point.
So
Jeez.
yeah, so the guy got excited. He took us to lunch, and he saw me. I had no look of being a basketball player. I was a little chubby, and
So you were chubby and huge.
yeah,
So like you could have played American football.
probably be in the NFL. But so he saw me, and he was like, "Wow, you're gonna be the best player in Colombia. Like
Really?
you're gonna go to the United States. You're gonna travel the world. You're gonna do all these things." And
Let
I'm
me
sitting
ask-
there
let-
like,
let
what
me
is this
ask you,
guy?
Are you still in contact with this person?
We lost touch, but like I saw him about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. He unfortunately got like really sick.
Oh, really?
But yeah, like his last name is Angel.
Oh, wow.
So it's like,
That's
Coach
your
Angel, and he saw me and he predicted my future, and pretty much everything that he said has come
to
true.
pass.
Yeah.
So actually, the reason that I mentioned that to start with, and that's like an amazing story. The reason that I mentioned it is because I unfortunately didn't go with Andrew this year, but Andrew went to celebrate New Year's with some of her friends, like Joan, who's watching this right now, Giovanni, and they went out to Choco to celebrate
New Year's.
New Year's, and now
Wow.
we've
Yeah,
been
I loved it.
He loved it. We've been in the barrios here in Medellin a lot, and I think we were in Barrio Popular Dos, and Andrew looks at me. He's like, this is nothing. He goes, you have to see where would Quibdó you went to.
Quibdó,
He's like
yeah,
everywhere in
You go to
Quibdó.
like Barrio Popular, and it's like nice compared
Compared
to some
to
of the
Quibdó.
parts
Oh,
to
yeah,
Quib-
nah.
of Quibdó. Like it's
So
and
poverty's huge.
We'll get to that because I
Yeah.
have questions about what you think about certain things.
Yeah,
Granted that we have 45 minutes, I wanted to ask you, apart than rounding off the family, are you from a big family? Do you have a lot of brothers and sisters?
Well, this is gonna be a little shocking right away, but this is what I'm here. We're here for. I'm only child from my mom's side.
Okay.
2 years ago, I was doing a basketball camp with my foundation in Urabá,
Yeah.
and this lady comes to me. She's staring at me, which is normal. The
yeah.
ladies do that.
Yeah. Oh, you
No, no,
smell
no,
you
no.
hear it. Okay, all right, yeah. So this is
No,
the type
so-
of things I've never said ever. That's
normal.
it's no,
No,
like the
so-
ladies do.
So I'm with the two of the coaches, two girls.
Yeah.
And this lady staring, and she comes up to me and she's like, "Oh my God!" And she stares and she's like, "Can I touch you?" And I was like, "Girl, like not here, not like that. Like let's first,
Yeah,
like
let's
in
go
my
out to
in my
dinner.
in my mind, I'm like, the workout that I've been doing is paying off, So then she's like, "No, not like that, not like that. You don't know who I am." I was like, nah, I have no idea. Like, why should I know? Like, it's my first time here in Urabá.
Yeah.
She's like, well, like, I'm your older sister. So I'm like, okay, what you
That gives me
mean?
some goosebumps right now.
So it's like, yeah, you're the last one of 26.
What?
So I have 26 brothers and sisters.
We
from
could
my-
just end it. Let's end the episode right here. We could end the episode. Yo, none of my brothers and sisters better come up and tell me you're number 7 of 50. I'd freak the fuck out. I don't. Yeah.
Wow.
So she was like, "You're the last one. You're the last one." Because my dad died when I was 10 days old. Like I was born, and then
Wow.
he got into an accident. And yeah, she dropped that bomb on me, and I'm like, okay. We sit down and start talking. She's showing me pictures of my brothers. She's saying they all over the world, and that she always was looking for me. And I was like, yo, what is like what's going on? And then she tell me that my dad wasn't in an accident, but they killed him. Like it was.
Oh wait, and your mom didn't tell you any of this?
No, my mom told me the accident, and I probably knew I have like 3 or 4, like because she was like, I used to take you when you were young to your brothers and sisters, but they pay you no attention.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, I know I have some people in my life, but I didn't expect to be
25 more of them.
Yeah.
That is absolutely one of the most insane
That's
things I've
insane.
ever heard.
Yeah,
So-
that is
So
crazy.
now you're in contact. You're reaching out to them.
Well,
Or
this
what's
is
going
no,
on?
this is the thing. So all of a sudden, I start getting messages on Facebook like, "Uncle."
Of course. Of course. Holy shit. I messaged him. I said, "Uncle." He's like, "Motherfucker, you got gray beard. What you talking about, uncle?"
So I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of like a little awkward because, you got people that they're your brothers from life, that been there through the good and the bad,
Right.
And I was like, I got a couple messages when I won the championship in France, and I was like, you say you've been looking for me your whole life, but I'm not that hard
To find, yeah.
Yeah, it's
You're like a fucking 6'8" giant. How tall are you?
6'8", yeah.
6'8"
That's what you
guy.
can put in Google, right? 6'8" giant
Yeah,
in
like
Colombia.
how
You
hard is
find
that
it.
to find? No, but I that's actually a question I was gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Like if you felt that people were just trying to find you now that you're successful.
Yeah, definitely. That was the feeling. You start getting a couple of messages, and here in Colombia, a lot of people it's like, "Hey, what's up, cuz?" Like primo, hey,
Hey, que
primo.
primo.
So it was a moment in my life I had to call my mom to like, so who are you? Like you calling me primo? Like I want to see if you're related for real. because like you know what I mean. Don't call me
Holy
like primo, and you just calling me like that, and they's making like we primos for real, and I never heard of you, and so it was very interesting, but some that's the feeling you get, like and in life, I think that happens a lot, especially here.
Yeah.
People work hard, and some people feel like they're entitled. To
Right.
to some of the things that you
That you have,
accomplish.
yeah. I feel that, yeah.
It's better to just not have anything like us. And then when they come around, they be like, "Hey, primo." I'm like, "Yeah,
What's up, man?
Primo, what you got? What you got
for me?" Yeah. Dang it. Now that this is out in the public, I can't come and pretend like I'm his primo from Choco.
Yeah. Yeah. So by the way, I was in Choco and I loved Choco, and
The culture is
actually
amazing.
this year for if we're not in Mexico for New Year's, I will definitely be in some part near Choco. Maybe I was thinking of going to Noki or Capurganá. Because I've got a couple friends that I play basketball with that have family out there, and they want to show it, and I've never been. I think it would be amazing to go.
I'm there.
So let's talk about basketball.
All right.
All right.
Let's talk about basketball. So you said you started playing basketball at what age?
11.
At 11.
Yeah.
And obviously, right away, you were probably a 5, right? Like a
I was a center, but I was lucky. The coach that I had, because I had to go to school in the afternoon. The older players train in the morning.
Yeah.
So I had to train with them.
Right.
And kind of like while they were doing, I was doing my little drills, 1, 2, things like that. But every time, kind of like, even though I was a 5, they trained me as a complete basketball player.
Okay.
So I was able to shoot, dribble, everything at a young age.
Because I saw that on your Instagram. You're over there. You got some little bit of handles and stuff.
Yeah, a little something.
You got a little something. I was hoping you come and school these youth out here. These so-called guards. Show them how to handle the ball. But you got some handles too. Okay.
And so you were 11, so obviously you weren't in high school yet. I think I read that you also went to high school in the United States.
Yeah, I went to high school in New York.
What's it called?
Our Savior New American. So this is the thing. When I was playing for the national team, I was 14 for the under 16 national team.
Okay.
We went to Chile, and we're playing against Argentina. And you don't know what's going on. You're 14 years old. You're just up there having a good time playing.
Right.
And I don't know, I had like 30-some points, being for one of the youngest players in the tournament. And you come back to Colombia, you have no idea what you have accomplished. We almost beat Argentina, and this 14-year-old kid, had 30-some points. So, like 6 months later, I get a call from our Argentinian coach. It's like, would you like to play professional in Colombia and in Argentina? And I was like, of course, yeah. I was so excited. I'm like, I'm 14, 15 years old. Yeah, I want to play professional. Then they call back. Then my mom answered the phone. And she was like, she shut that down really quick. Yeah. I was mad at her for like 2 months. I was like, we economically not in the best situation.
Yeah.
And I get offered a contract. I'm like, I'm out.
Right.
And she was like, nah, you got to finish school.
Wow,
But then after that, NBA scout from Dallas Mavericks, he saw me and he's like, would you talk to my mom first?
Yeah.
And he's like, would you let your son go to the United States, go to school, finish his education, and play basketball? And then to that, she said, yeah.
That's amazing. That's pretty cool. So you went and played, and did you win any high school championships out there?
Well, we play a lot of tournaments. I do have a lot of trophies, so I think we won.
Yeah,
There's got to be a high school one. Who cares about high school
Let's
anyway?
back this up a bit. Let's back this up a bit.
Am I asking about high school anyway?
But for real, let's back this up a bit, because this is like you're getting thrown into, you're a star here in Colombia, you're getting sent to New York, you got a host family, you're gonna play basketball, but at this point you don't speak any English, do you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Zero English.
Wow.
But this is the thing. Before I left, I was practicing maybe 6 hours a day, because I play with the school here.
Yeah.
With the Antioquia team, with the Colombian national team and sometimes semi-professional league, what they call la Copa Elite.
La elite, yeah.
Elite Cup, yeah.
So and on that time, I was going to school maybe every other day. My mom would wake me up at like 5:30 because I had to be at school at 7, and then I'll eat breakfast and I go back to sleep because I couldn't do it. So and then I wake up at 2 and go to practice and practice and practice and practice. Get home at 11.
6 hours.
Yeah. So then until they find out, like, yo, why you like? They call my mom. It's like he's not coming to school. So it was because I had in my mind that I was leaving. But the thing is, being Colombian, the guy that saw me, he was going to different high schools, and he was like, "Hey, I have a very good Colombian basketball player. Colombian, they don't play basketball there."
Yeah.
So but he was going to big high schools like O'Kill, Mansayan, things like that, and they all say no. And then this high school in New York, our Savior, they opened the door for me, but it was more like, oh, it's a poor Colombian kid, like
charity.
let's
Charity
save
thing.
one kid, and
Yeah.
they didn't expect me to be good. And when I was good, when I got there and I was getting buckets.
Yeah.
Were you the
You
top
gotta
player?
show 'em,
Were you
yeah,
the top player?
Yeah.
You were their savior.
Jesus. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
That's wild, man.
Yeah,
So moving on to university, you went to Louisville.
Yeah. Well, but going back to,
sorry.
to what you say. So I got there, and at that time only child.
Yeah. At that time, you were one of one, not one of 26. You had no primos.
Yeah, at that time only child, living my mom, not speaking any English. It was kind of crazy going to Long Island, which the houses are huge, and all that. It was a cultural shock, but the family was super nice to me.
Was it a white family?
Yeah, it was a white family, blue eyes, serious Spanish.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing, though. That's a cool
amazing.
experience.
It was they were amazing. The third day, we had we having dinner, and after it's like, oh, we're going to do devotions. Like,
You
and
go what?
Devotions.
They take out the Bible and they give it to me.
So you can read your piece
I
and
can't,
look up.
I can't even read in Spanish right now. Like, why you? It's like, nah, read. And they were so supportive. I'm acting like I'm reading. It's like, oh yeah, that's so amazing. Yeah, you read so good.
Yeah, you read so good.
So they really helped me out a lot, and the school was amazing. So.
And they had other
I'm
kids?
thankful.
Did they have other kids?
Yeah, they had other kids, and they actually they got another 2 kids the time I was there.
Yeah.
From Kosovo and from Africa.
That's pretty amazing.
But my room is the only one that's still my room. Like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're still, and you're in contact with these
Yeah,
people?
I'm in contact with them. They took me to college.
Wow.
My family. Every time I have a chance to go to New York, I'll go there.
Man, honestly, I gotta change my life because my story's gonna sound really boring after this shit.
Yeah.
I met Andrew in 2000.
at a bar dancing reggaeton.
So what you're saying? Your life just started when you.
Yeah. Before that, it's
Listen, Andrew, we need people to come up to us and say primo, so we can get a couple, brothers and sisters and just change the story a bit.
right. So at Louisville,
Yeah.
what, you were like 18, 19 years old?
19 years old when I graduated.
And
yeah.
how was the experience there on the basketball team?
Well, before that, the recruitment process
Okay.
is something that is crazy because, again, if I was from the U.S. and I knew what I was accomplishing, like, oh wow, I'm in the top 10 high school players in the country.
Were you
and,
top 10 high school players in the country?
If you look, it was a time I was in the mock draft and all those things. So I was in cover of magazines. But at the same time, you're like, okay, I'm kind of big time, but you don't understand. So like my idea during this whole process was going from high school to the NBA. At that time, it was still possible, but injuries, and it was my senior year. It's a couple important games: the McDonald's, the Rumble Classic, and the Adidas. So I was invited to the Rumble Classic and the Adidas games, but I hurt my right hand, so I was out there shooting with the left and whatever. And then all these colleges recruiting process, it was, they fly you in a private plane, and in the visit they have 48 hours to show you everything
Everything,
and to
yeah.
convince you to go there. So you walking, then a girl comes by and is like, hey, how are you? I was like, oh, you coming here next year? He's like, I talked to tonight. Give me your number because I'm going to salsa classes. He's like, oh, so you salsa?
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh, so
Salsa.
everything is so planned.
It's planned out.
It's planned
Wow.
out.
Yeah.
It's like, so you go that night and you salsa, and then I was like, oh my god, and the girl's like, they almost hire to make you fall in love with her. And you know, each college use different techniques.
Yeah.
Right.
To get you to
Wow.
so you know, after the visit you're talking to somebody from that school and you're like,
I wanna
I'm
go
liking
there.
it. I want to go there because this girl, like,
Yeah.
you know, besides the basketball and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
they try to. So that experience was crazy, but I ended up going to Louisville.
Yeah.
Why Louisville?
The coach was very, very convincing, very honest. I felt, you know, he wasn't trying to sweet talk me. Like other coaches will, in the meetings, will cry, oh my God, we need you in our program.
What?
Yeah, no, this
That
is
is crazy, man. I didn't
behind
know
the
that.
curtains.
Yeah.
Behind the curtains, they try to do everything. They call coaches from Colombia to call me to try to tell me why I should go to that school.
Wow.
Things
That's
like that.
amazing. Holy shit.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know, Rick Pitino, he was like, you know, you're gonna be a freshman. I usually don't play freshmen, but you're gonna play a lot. You're not gonna be the main star your first year, but we're gonna win games. So you rather be the tail of a tiger or the head of a rabbit, you know,
Yeah.
you know. So if you want to go to a small school, whatever. So I ended up going there because of that and the campus. And there's no professional teams in Louisville, so
That is
you
the
this-
main
that,
event.
that is the
Yeah,
that's the main
Yeah,
thing.
That's pretty awesome.
Do you know how deflating this is right now? I still haven't gotten a goddamn match on Tinder. This guy.
He's getting girls coming up to him on
No,
campuses.
but at the same time, you ask yourself like how real is it? You
yeah,
know?
how really?
Man, I want to
that's
live
true.
that fake shit for a little bit, man. How old were you? You're like 9. I'm like, I'll live a few years of fake. I'll get, what is it, woke? I'll wake up around 24. What you got, Andrew?
So after Louisville, I know that you got hurt, and you were going to play professionally. Where was your first professional team, or who did you play for first?
Yeah. Well, like I said before, basketball it was going pretty well until the injuries came in.
Yeah.
And being in Louisville, I thought I was gonna make it. I was watching the draft and everything. So when all that was down, all that shut down, I was watching the draft by myself in Vegas, and because I was training there, and I see it with the number because I thought I was going to Utah. They picked somebody else. I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do?
You became the crying coach at that point. You were like,
It's a
I could just
circle.
be a coach if this
It's a
doesn't-
circle.
Yeah,
It's a circle.
circles. Yeah.
So my mom goes like, well, you know, no, that's later on. So I talked to my agent. He's like, what's the best option? And well, Spain is a good option. And we decided to go to Spain. I come to Colombia to get all my paperwork and go there.
Yeah.
At that time, you still needed a visa.
Right.
So I go, so the plan was for me to go to the embassy, pick up my passport at like 11 in the morning, and I had a flight to Barcelona at 4 p.m.
That's not going to happen in Colombia. I'm sorry.
So I go there, like when I'm telling you I had what are those jackets, the long, like
Oh,
a
the trench
Trench
coat.
coat.
like, yeah, I'm like dressed up at the embassy, right? You know, everybody's in a room. They calling people like, Felipe, so-and-so, sorry, your visa has been denied. And I'm sitting there like, for people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you got your trench coat. I got a trench coat.
I'm like, they
that
call
sucks for
about
them.
10, 15 people, everybody's visa's denied. When they call me, you know, Juan Diego Tello, I get up like, your visa has been denied. I'm like, excuse me, no, gotta be a mistake. Like,
Have you seen
like
this
it's
trench
me.
coat?
It's like,
It's me. I'm Daniel.
I bought this in Louisville or where the hell you bought that.
This is Kentucky.
So-
Kentucky trench coat.
so I'm, you know, I had no money.
Yeah.
I had like $50 to eat something at the airport, catch the flight straight to Barcelona, and somebody was gonna pick me up, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I leave the embassy, all dressed up, big bags, no money to
A
fly
black
back.
man in a trench coat.
I was in Bogota. I had no money to come back, right, to fly. So I called my agent from a payphone. They didn't give me the visa. It's like, what should I do? I'm in Bogota.
Yeah.
I got no money. I got $50. So it's like, okay, I guess you gotta go back to Medellin. So I go to the bus station with
Your trench coat.
Your bags.
Yo,
Oh, that's
this is massive.
Shit.
This is a documentary.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So listen, I'm in the bus, right? Like it's freaking 8 hours.
Yeah.
And at that time, I remember I had a psychic, and I'm writing all the bad stuff like about life. Like I'm supposed to be in my way to Barcelona, get paid, right?
Yeah.
Then I came here, I get home, and I used to live in Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
There is no light. I got here like around midnight.
Right.
There's no light.
Oh no.
So I knocked the door. My mom opened the door with a candle.
You're like, this can't get any worse.
Wait, by the way, you're coming back from New York in a big house. Is that where you come from right now? You're in a big house.
And then Louisville, the
no,
dorm,
Louisville,
the
the college
whole-
life.
Yeah, the college life. My mom went there for my senior night. Driving, I never had a car here. I had SUVs. The girls let me borrow and things like that. And I get here, it's raining. It's no light.
Wow.
And she opened the door with a candle, and she was like, "So what are we gonna do now?" And she's like, "I guess you're gonna have to become an English teacher."
Wow.
So that was
From Louisville.
I guess it didn't work out, but in the NBA,
Yeah,
English is obviously
didn't get drafted.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Missed your visa to Spain,
To Spain.
to go play professionally. Come back home. There's no electricity.
Yeah.
And you got to teach English.
Yeah, candle lit. Somebody's telling you this over some candlelight.
Yeah, that's
NBA did not work out for you. You're
That's-
not going to be Jordan.
that almost sounds like a movie.
Have
Like
you heard-
nah,
could be a movie.
it is.
That
It's,
could be
it's,
a movie.
it's
That's pretty
unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
All
So-
right, so so now you're getting students for English. No, but so what happened after?
Yeah.
Like
Nah,
what
so
happened?
so I'm here in Colombia. People think I'm like, because at that time, you're kind of famous but broke.
Yeah.
So that's the worst situation you can be in, because
No,
You're
unless
in
you're
a-
ugly too. Then you're fucked
Yeah,
up.
because then you're ugly.
You-
You're
Yeah.
broke.
you grab everybody. You come to El Poblado, right, and you go out, and then you gotta ask the taxi to see if he takes you all the way
Way
up
to
there.
Pedro, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And how much?
And how much, and see if they take you. And so it was interesting. But then after a month, the president find out, the president of Colombia, and they called the embassy, and then the embassy called me, and then they solved all the problems. But flying there, the flight was delayed, and when I got there, I had no bags. There was nobody waiting for me at the airport. Again, I had no money. So it was a very interesting path.
Yeah, that is interesting.
That's like, I did not expect that.
I did not.
Sorry, I'm
I did not
shocked
know that.
about
That's
this
not
part.
on Wikipedia.
It's
No,
not.
That is
it's-
not on
yeah.
Wikipedia. I'm gonna add it.
But it will be on Colombia. Hey, so you guys know it will be on ColombiaBasketball.com and BasketballColombia.com, which we're going to talk about building out later so people
Yeah.
can really understand that there's more than just charity players out here. Respect.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah. So you came back to Colombia, and then after that, what was the process to get to the professional level?
Well, no, it was just my my agent. He was working on that during the time I was here. When I didn't get the visa.
Okay.
I was here only for like a month.
Okay.
Try to get all the paperwork done. Then this team in Barcelona, second division, gave me the opportunity because people don't realize. For me, not making it to the NBA, it was kind of like a failure at that moment. Not understanding and put in perspective.
Right.
Life.
Yeah.
So because it's like, I want to go to NBA, I have to go overseas.
Yeah.
When it's only two Americans per team,
Yeah.
and imagine each year all the guys that leave college and everybody fighting for those two spots. So making it to a team is super hard. So I got there to a Barcelona team, but I was struggling mentally because I was thinking not where I was or kill where I was, that team I was in, but I was watching and turning into the NBA. Like, oh, look at this guy. I killed him. I killed this guy.
Yeah.
So until I realized, listen, if you good, like, why you don't show that you good, whatever you're playing. So then until I changed that mentality, I was able to do that. So
because I read it on something I was reading, and it said when he didn't make it to the, this is what it said. You may have read it, 'cause I'm sure you've read a lot of them. It said when he didn't make it to the NBA, it was the disappointment. Actually, that's what it said. The disappointment of not making it into the NBA. He basically decided to go to Spain. That's how they phrased it.
That's how they phrased it.
So, but it said, but again, it was like they talked about this disappointment. So I don't know if it was in an interview or something. I don't know where they got that from. Where it's just like, because many people don't make it to the NBA. You're not the only person that doesn't make it to the NBA.
There's more that don't than do.
A lot more. There's
millions. Everybody. I didn't make it.
I would be there as a water boy.
I was disappointed too when I didn't make it, for sure.
No, but so you did. What was that? Was it really like crushing? Where you're like, man, I wanted to make it to the NBA. This has been my dream over the last, since I was 11 to now. Or were you just like, yeah, it's all right, it's good. Was it really?
No, it definitely, because you go from, if we go back up, like we back up a little bit, you in high school and you one of the top players. Then you come to college, your first year, you go to a Final Four.
Yeah.
Yep.
As a freshman.
As a freshman, I remember.
And you starting in a Final Four team as a freshman. So you in the mock draft, you know, freshman of your conference.
Yeah.
And happens that the last game in the Final Four was the worst game of my season.
Wow.
So then the coach, before he goes into the locker room, he pulls me in. He's like, look, you cannot perform under pressure. Stay one more year. And then right now, if you go, you maybe draft 20 to 25th. Stay one more year, you go top 5, guaranteed contract, whatever happens to you. So your first year, you go to the Final Four, you think life is sweet. You think everything is like that.
Yeah.
And then you come back, and I knew I was making a mistake because when I was practicing with a lot of players that were in the draft, I was killing them. And the coach was like, oh, so, you know, what teams are interested in you? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, how I put my name in the draft. I don't have an agent. What's going on? Come back, boom, dislocated my ankle in preseason. After that, everything changed. So that year, so going back at it, is like, why didn't I live my freshman year? Yeah. And that's why everybody is like, that's the story. Like, okay, I'll tell you why you didn't live your freshman year. And then senior year, there's a couple teams that were interested, but I had an injury history. It's like, we cannot invest in you.
Right.
So then you practicing good, you killing in the workouts, they calling you in, but it's like, why you didn't live your first year? And then how's your knees and how you, and so when you ask me like if it was, you know, it was depressing. I was in Vegas working out with everybody that got drafted, and I'm in my room. So definitely it was a tough situation, and it took me some time to kind of like change my mindset with like, yo, listen, like there's people here in Europe making great money, and it's not easy to be in Europe. And when I look back, a lot of players that I play with that made it to the NBA, they're in Europe now, or they're not even in Europe or in the NBA or in South America, because it's like what counts is the long run. It's like how you maintain and how you adapt to each situation.
So it's not about how we can do great this year. It's like how much it's you're an investment.
Exactly, because this guy, he made it. He was picked like 14, and he played 2 years, but then his work ethic, everything wasn't there. And then a couple of years later, he's like, yo, hook me up with something. Like, I'm like, yo, you made it to the NBA. How you don't take advantage of that situation? Yeah. So, and for being in Colombia, honestly, I think it's better in the lifestyle. Like over here, people that know sports know who I am. Yeah. But if I walk outside, they think I'm from the U.S. and that I don't speak Spanish. Yeah. So I can still live my life. I can still go for a walk. I can go with my mom to the mall. not now.
Yeah.
I can
No, yeah.
I can still do a lot of things. I can go to the club and don't have people, it's
No primos, nobody coming up to
yeah,
you. Be
no,
like, hey,
it's,
primo, buy
no,
me.
here and there, but it's not
Yeah.
as crazy if I would have made it to the NBA.
Oh yeah.
I like to enjoy life and do simple things as well. So when I look at that for that and getting to know the world, live in different countries,
Yeah.
so it's a good out
Yeah,
of
that's
this
amazing.
situation too.
Yeah. How popular? Because I get this question a lot because I play on men's leagues out here, and people see my Instagram and Facebook like that. I'm always playing basketball with people out here. They're like, how popular is basketball in Colombia? So I'm asking you the question so that you can answer. How popular is basketball in Colombia?
People in Colombia like basketball, but here they need someone to make it to the highest level to support that sport. For example, NASCAR driving. Before Juan Pablo Montoya, nobody watched. Nobody will wake up and I'm gonna watch this race.
Right.
I'm trying to buy a car to drive.
And now there's going to be an autopista en Bello. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So when somebody makes it, it's people playing golf that never play golf because it's good golf players or riding a bike, going bike up the
BMX.
mountains.
And BMX.
With Mariana Pajon.
Mariana, yeah.
So it's like people like it, first of all, but they got to get into the federation and all that stuff. But the Federation of Basketball don't really they haven't done anything in the last 15, 20 years for basketball here in Colombia. It was a time where investors, DirecTV, put some money, but they messed it up. So when you don't have those idols or that vision of players like, I can be a professional basketball player in Colombia and live out of this, then people don't start practicing and making it a priority.
Focusing, yeah.
100%. And I'm just gonna say that because big issue. You guys know what's going on in the United States, and people don't understand, for example, the significance of, regardless of if you think he's a good or bad president. I'm not here to talk about politics, but the fact that Obama became president. I remember when he got ushered in as president. Black kids, right? Black kids, Latino kids was like, holy shit.
I can be.
I could
Okay.
I could do something. President. I never thought I'd be a president. So, and I get where you're coming from. Like if and that's why when we moved to Spanish and so like the up and comers can listen, is that they do need that role model, and you do need to get to that level. And you're like a martyr in a way. You're doing so much more, and you have done. If you think about it, you've done a lot for the sport because a bunch of people's like, well, Tello played in over there. I could go there.
Yeah.
If you had never gotten there, they'd be like, I'm just gonna stick to football, soccer. You know what I mean? And so that is true. Like they need that. They need people like you so they can actually feel that it's real.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, do you think, in your opinion, apart from like in 1991 when Tehran, who just died recently, RIP, was drafted to the NBA. Other than that, no Colombian has ever been drafted. The closest was Angola in 2018. Do you think that any of the new kids out there playing, because I know that there's like 12 Colombians playing in the NCAA right now. Do you see that in the near future?
I think so. I mean, I think the fact that more kids are going there is a little a numbers game. The more Colombian kids that you have there, more chances you have that one of them is good enough.
Yeah.
So right now there is one kid called Jaime. His name is Jaime Echenique, and he's from Barranquilla, and he's in that process, right? He's right now working out to work out with some NBA teams. He's about 6'10". So it's and it's other ones that are
How old is he?
He's 21.
6'10". Okay.
Yeah, so it's couple guys in the process, but if you think about it, in the last 10 years, it's only been it was only me playing professional overseas until 2 years ago. That Brian went overseas and the national team point guard went to a small country. So it's 3 players out of a whole country playing professional and living out of basketball.
That is crazy.
So when you ask me like,
goosebump.
playing professional in the NBA, it's like, okay, how many players could like play in Europe? And
You're the only one.
in the last 12 years, yeah.
You're the only Colombian player that plays in the European League.
That's
So
pretty
now,
awesome.
now Brian Angola.
Yeah.
And
Dude, this is
so
good. I swear to God, I'm like goosebump right now because
Brian right now is playing in Serbia. No,
Serbia,
he's
yeah.
playing in Serbia.
Yeah.
he's at home though. He's over in Casanare.
he's in Casanare, yeah.
Right
So
now,
Yeah, I saw him on. You guys were on an interview together recently, right?
yeah, we close friends, and when he comes here, sometimes stay at my house. We talk about a lot of stuff.
Candlelight or real light?
No candles this time.
I just don't know if you guys just maybe just to throw it back to the old days, you light up two candles.
No, we don't.
Put on a trench coat.
We don't. Nah, those days are.
I know you
trench
know,
coat.
he's got like
Nah.
Gucci bucket hats and shit. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
But yeah, but like for me, it's like it don't matter where you play at, but to make something out of what you invest so much time.
Yeah, man.
And when you invest so much time in something that you love, that you release your family and you can enjoy those fruits of your labor.
Yeah, man.
And when I see, Brian, he was in the process of making it to the NBA and he was all hype over here and it didn't happen, and I'm sure he felt the same way.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe stop accepting the reality, but at the end of the day, like, listen, you can go to Europe and make a lot of money.
Great living.
Way more money than anybody in Colombia playing basketball or doing any type of job.
Yeah.
So you can, the main thing is that your family is okay, that you live comfortable. And
That's a great
so
message.
Wait, before you go there, you hey, get this on record. I don't want to know how much you're making right now, or you're making right now. But if you don't mind telling us, getting recruited to go play on a team in Europe, in like Spain, you said is the biggest thing after the NBA. What is an entry level player expected to make? You get recruited, let's say, assuming that, were you a starter when you went there? Did you start or were you on the bench? So you were a starter.
Yeah.
So you're a starter on a team in Europe. What in US dollars are you expected to make, more or less?
Each country and each division is different, right? And what you did in college and your process before getting to Europe. Even though once you get to Europe, really nothing counts. You gotta kind of like show who you are. They don't care what you did before.
Yeah.
But you can talk to some guys and it's like, okay, my first year I made 3,000 because I was in the second division team, 3,000 a month. And then, okay.
For second division, that's pretty
for
damn
second
good,
division,
though.
yeah. Then,
Coming from Colombia.
Then you got other guys that say, well, I'm making 10,000 a month.
Yeah.
So
In
100
second division.
In second division.
Okay. So 120 a year.
Yeah. So then you can do well, and then you can make 150, then 250, then this guy's making 1.2, 1.3 in
Million
yeah.
euros or whatever it is.
Yeah. So it changes a lot. Okay. And 1 year can kill you too. Like that's what happened to me in Turkey.
Okay.
Because I had just won a championship in France. I went to Lithuania, I was the MVP. I went to Turkey, I won a championship in Turkey. So my status in Europe was like, okay, so I was up there.
Okay.
And then I hurt my knee, and then he's like, whoop.
Shit. It's like, you think you're gonna come here and make 1.2?
And then so then
3,000 a month. Yeah.
So then you have to go somewhere and prove yourself, be the MVP again, and then kind of like climb up.
But isn't that part of it? Isn't that part of being a professional athlete? Like,
yeah, but some guys make 3 years, 1.2 each year, and once you in that, and you're in a winning team and Euro League team, then even though you don't do crazy numbers,
you're still making the money.
You at that level. You like consistently.
So it's exactly what you said before then. So this is a game about longevity. It's not about how fast you can sprint. It's about how long you can maintain your level, right? Because 1.2 million over 10 years, you got 10 point whatever million
got a lot
versus getting
up.
injured.
And then and then you have an agent that might say, well, go here and make 10,000 a month. And that's it. And he don't have a vision for you for next year. And then you make 10,000 a month, but then you don't play or the coach don't play you or it's not the right situation for you. So then after that, you don't have a job. Instead of the guy that went there for 3,000
and settle down.
And then it was gonna be his team. He put the numbers. Then he next year made 150, while the other guy is at home. So it's a game.
That's a game. Yeah,
It's a business.
It's a business. It's a business. Yeah. So what's your favorite NBA team?
A team. I don't have a favorite team because I have friends.
You could say it.
I have friends in different teams, so I support the guys that are
team.
playing.
Exactly. Yeah, because you brought Ibaka here one time.
Yes.
And Ibaka was playing for Toronto, and now did he move from Toronto?
Better not.
Or he's still at Toronto?
Yeah, he's still
at Toronto. So
I cannot be like, oh, I'm a Toronto fan, and then he goes somewhere and like, hey,
it's your boy.
year.
You're supporting your boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you meet? What's your relationship with him?
Well, we're under the same agency, and when I was in that process of making it to the NBA, we lived together in Vegas. So it was very funny because it was his first time in the U.S. and we both going through that whole getting drafted and training process. And he didn't have a driver's license, so I had to take him everywhere. I was just living, after college, no money. He was playing in Spain, so he wanted to eat every time at a fancy restaurant. I only have money for fast food places. So it's like, and he was skinny, so he was like, yo, I need to eat pasta. I eat pasta. I'm like, yo, man, I'm going here to KFC.
Pasta? You ever heard of an arepa? You can make those at home. Oh, that's crazy, man. That's all. And you still friends?
Yeah. We still talk. I mean, he came here, we try to do a couple of things. We have a couple of projects in mind. Hopefully, we can make him true.
We're gonna talk about those
projects. That's great.
After.
I guess the last basketball question that I'll have, and then we'll go into philanthropy. In your opinion, who's the greatest of all time?
MJ.
MJ,
the greatest of all.
You
time.
watched The Last Dance?
Of course.
Am I alive? Yeah.
It's like what the last word? Like
you
wear
salsa?
What last dance you talking about? Imagine if I really came here.
So you think
what,
you can
Shakira and your hips don't lie?
But you wearing his shoes though. You got his shoes on.
You got the MJs.
You guys can't see that shit.
I'm an MJ fan. I grew up watching MJ and I grew up watching Kobe. Obviously, Kobe. For me, it's really hard to say who's the best because I love them all. And even LeBron. LeBron is just a different beast. It's like you can't put that guy in the same category
because it's the other guys were finesse. And LeBron is just an animal.
Power,
gifted, everything.
Yeah, I consider. By the way, you guys got me thinking right now because I wonder in my childhood because I think I'm trying to decide whether or not I was a basketball fan or a Michael Jordan fan. Because when I was a kid, honestly, if my dad, anybody's watching this, anyone that knew me, man, the most money I ever made, I'd say per capita in my entire lifetime was selling basketball cards in Guyana, South America here. But I loved Michael Jordan. So like we never missed a game. My dad, we used to watch basketball anytime Michael Jordan played. It was on the TV and that's what we watched. And I still haven't watched The Last Dance yet. But I could salsa the fuck out of a dance floor. But because I know once I start watching that, I'll be like, it's just like I'm waiting.
It's a binge watch. You have to binge watch it.
Exactly,
It's amazing.
But
I'd watch it twice.
But basketball is huge. I don't like Andrew will still, give up his firstborn to watch a Laker game. I'm not that diehard. No, but seriously, I'm not even laughing. You out here laughing. Look how serious, man.
That's
like
not a
sell
joke.
his child on a black market.
And when the Colombia basketball team when you guys play the national team, I go to all those games.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like,
He's a
Tello.
groupie. Hey,
I swear to God, I've screamed his name out. And he's
Hold
like,
on.
because there's like thousands of other people out there.
If there's
screaming.
anybody that's been watching this from the start, you tuned in earlier. This is actually Isabel. No, he's not. Oh,
No, Isabel is a real girl.
Isabel is
She's
a real
sweet girl.
person.
She's a
So
sweet
you
girl.
now look at him and tell me 1 to 10.
I can't.
Is there a 0?
Oh shit!
The
this
10
is
without the
awesome.
1.
Is it a
Bathroom
negative
break.
category?
Yeah, dang, it's not my types. Anyways,
All right, so we know that you do a lot of philanthropy.
wait, can I ask one question?
Oh,
Before?
sure.
One
Go ahead,
question.
go ahead.
My only question. We're gonna ask in English, but in Spanish you can answer it. He can ask it, so I don't fuck the whole question up. What would be your advice? Forget if you're okay. What would be your advice to anyone that's in a developing nation? Because there's a Chilean player, there's an Ecuadorian player, there's a Guyanese, Jamaican, there's somebody that wants to make it to the NBA, or maybe they're not thinking about Europe because they don't have the vision yet for that. What would be your advice to that 16-year-old player that's over in the family's place, and with hopes to go to the NBA or something? What would you tell them? What would you maybe what would you do differently that you think that you told them, hey, if I could do this, if I could give you that one bit of advice, this is what would have made the difference?
Well, the first thing is kind of like everybody looking at the big goal, right? And I got families, I got moms writing me, my son is really good and he wants to go to the United States. Like, can you help him? I was like, is he in the Antioquia team? He's like, nah. I was like, okay, like first you gotta make it there.
You gotta make it.
It's
here,
like,
yeah.
okay, is he in the national team? No, make it to the national team.
right.
Are you the best player in your national team? No, be the best, and
yeah.
then things are gonna happen. And
Right.
so it's like, be realistic with yourself, where you at, and set up goals. Like with everything in life, I don't think like kids in sports like they don't sit down and be like, I'm gonna be the best in my team. They like, oh, I'm playing, I want to go to NBA. Oh my God, I want to go to the States. I want a scholarship.
They don't have that Jordan attitude.
They don't. So
You have to focus on right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that was also, I learned that later in my career. It's like, oh, I wanna make so much money and be in a EuroLeague team.
Right.
It's like, yeah, but I'm in the second division and I'm not killing.
Right. That's true. That's true.
So it's okay. Be the best player of the league.
That's really good advice because you could put that into anything that you do in life. It doesn't have to be basketball. It could be anything. Because even like just business, people watch. Why do you think those infomercial or fly-by-night companies are so popular, or pyramid schemes? Because people want to be rich today. They want to be rich quickly. But you're saying focus on your today's game.
And on today's game, win today's game, improve, be the best at everything you do in that situation that you're in, and then worry about what's going to happen when you get there and be the best.
I had it all wrong. I thought you were going to say, save up your money and buy a beige trench coat.
And then you made it.
Then you made it, you know what I mean?
Then you get
Buy a few candles, motherfucker.
and then you get humble.
Yes, you get them. No, I'm joking, but that's amazing, man. That's true. Focus on what's here. Be the best here, and move step by step, and don't have these like pipe dreams without being the best. Yeah.
No, and they call me dream killer because the moms and the kids, because I have the basketball camp, and it's 200 kids. And there's like, okay, so I'm like, how many think that are gonna make it to the NBA?
Everybody.
To the WNBA, they all lift their hand. I was like, how many hours a day do you practice? It's like, 2 hours, 3 times a week.
Jeez,
I was like, the time where I got good was practicing 6 hours every day for like 6 months, and then my level,
You jumped.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like reality check. You're not doing anything to be in the NBA or to be the best in your city or your country. So kids like, oh, snap, like.
If you can't be the best in Medellin, how are you gonna go be the best in a New York high school? Where people are playing basketball since they're like 4 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They think
That's
just
true.
because they go, it's like everything's gonna change. Like, oh my God, like this kid is offering me somebody's offering me a scholarship,
I must be
or I'll pay, but I want to be in the States. I'm like, don't go yet. You're not ready.
You're not ready.
Yeah, I don't know what like sports, because I didn't grow up around it. I grew up in sports in Canada, which is even like U.S. light. You know, it's like the United States light in certain things, like hockey. Obviously, it's a bigger sport there. I don't know what it's like here, but like there's kids. You see all these memes and stuff. At least in the United States of America, like these kids are born, and they grip tightly onto the mom's fingers, and they're like, "You're gonna be a fucking star. You're gonna throw football real good." And they're like 1 year old, and they're already trying to figure out how to get this child, or you know what I mean, or they're in the bathtub. This is like the United States mentality. And I'm not even from there, but I know it. It's like the kid's in like a little bathtub, and he's splashing around. Be like, "You're gonna be like Michael Phelps, so I'm gonna throw you into like swimming lessons, and you're 2. I still can't swim. I'm a little older than 2." But you know what I mean? Like, and then you got here. I don't know if it's the same way with like football or soccer here. If like parents are like, "Hey, you have to be this star." But like golf, like anything in the United States, like people go hardcore. Like they dedicate their life to that.
Here is the mentality is not like that. They just want to, once they find their passion, it's like they think they're good enough, but they don't know. They don't
understand that ethic that goes into being like a professional athlete.
It's true. And a real quick reality check, I think, a lot, is to be able to see a professional live. Like a professional game. Like, for example, when the Colombian national team goes and plays at a stadium, and the kid is there with the dad, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is a different level. I'm not just gonna be able to go to a summer camp and then go to school in the United States. Like these people are huge. Yeah, they're fucking. Remember when did you go? Yeah, when we went to see Mexico play versus like. Was it Puerto Rico? Those guys are like, you're like, holy cow, these guys are on steroids or something. But that's like how they are. They're basketball players.
But you know, the one thing, because we'll tie it up about sports and stuff, because a lot of people that are listening are not professional athletes. They don't give a shit about sports. They've never played a sport. But no, but seriously, they're like, I don't know shit about this. But a lot of people are into business. A lot of people are into making it. And we talk about this in every single episode, potentially. There's this thing called work, people. Like, you're like, "Oh yeah, well he's a tall black guy, and you know, you black guys are strong." Firstly, yes we are, and secondly, but we are, man. I'm fucking strong, man. I'm strong as fuck. Anyways, so you're like, he's a strong black man. He's 6'8". He should be dunking. He should be doing whatever. There is work. We talked with Camilo last week. He's an influencer that's made 3 million followers. People to make 3 million followers, unless of course you fluke it out and you shaved your head and you burnt your eyebrow and everyone thinks it's funny.
It was funny.
You got to put the fucking. You got to
put the work. You got to
even with sports.
That's exactly what he said. He said, unless for whatever reason you make it overnight because you got naked or you said whatever thing, you went viral and you knew how to capitalize on it, you need to put the fucking work.
Except in sports, that will never happen. That will never happen in sport. That's
there
the difference.
You can't make it by accident.
You can't make it by accident. That's one area where you cannot make it by accident. Anyways, that's my point to that.
So that's actually a really good segue because you talked about your camp. Can you tell us a little bit about your camp and what that means to you?
So I was in Lithuania and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep, and I think once you have projects and things that you have to do, it doesn't let you function right.
Yep.
So I'm like, I got to do something to give back to the community, to show what I have learned and give it to them. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a basketball camp. Nobody had done a basketball camp here, nothing. So I started, putting everything together. 6 months basketball camp. Where the money's gonna come from, I don't know. All this thing, like I want something at a high level. So I want that every kid got his T-shirt. Boom, how much everything's gonna cost? It was like $30,000. I'm like, oh, well, snap.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. So it's like, okay, who's gonna pay for it?
Right.
So I'm knocking, some doors in the government. They cannot give me money directly. So I'm like, oh, let's open a company. It's like, okay, if I open the company, they cannot give money to the company.
Why?
Because it's the government cannot just give
To a
market.
It's a bid. It has to be a bid.
Yeah,
It has to be a bid. Okay,
exactly.
yeah.
Or it can be like maybe a foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
But having a foundation costs more than having a company.
We're dealing with that right now.
So when you have your foundation, it's like you have to pay. You have gotta have more people.
Yep. Two accountants,
enrolled,
two different types of accountants alone.
Exactly, and the process is more difficult for a person that's overseas and all that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I created the company. So I have to use another club. So in papers, they run in the camp, so they can have the money. So I'm flying back from Lithuania, and the camp is 3 days later. How could you not? I land, I have 20 missed calls. When the governor was supposed to meet with the owners of the club to sign the papers, and then they wired the money and everything goes fine. Then they didn't show up because their lawyer said that in the paperwork they were responsible for everything. So that's why that's the idea. That's, so they didn't show up. And instead of me getting like 20,000 to run the camp,
Right.
I'm down.
Yeah, you're
So I'm
my
like,
God.
The government's
I'm
attack.
done. Yeah. So it's like, oh, should I run this camp? So I'm sitting there with my team, like 3 days later, waiting for, already pay for the tickets of the players, and like I'm already losing money. And it's like a big decision in my life. Like it was like, okay, so should I ruin my reputation even before it starts in this area?
Yeah.
Or do I lose the money and just go forward with it? So I decided to go forward with it. Did the first basketball camp. It was, on TV. And
What year was
great. It was 2015.
Yeah.
2015.
I remember that. Yep.
And it was a good choice because now, even though the help and the support is not there, it's a brand, and we do things, and we went to Urabá,
Yeah, I saw that.
and it was amazing. More than the camps here, when you see how kids absorb the information that you give them, and how they want to succeed, and families were like, "What are you doing here? Nobody comes here." Like when I'm telling you, we went to like, it was dirt all over outside the basketball court. Like the rim was taller, the measurements was horrible. So it's like you go there, you see it, and you talk to the government and try to change things. And we brought 60 of the best ones here for the camp here in Medellin, and it was amazing. So it started with a basketball camp, then created the foundation, and now we use sports to get that message of how to succeed, and how, even though, for example, I brought I don't only bring basketball players or athletes, because I know maybe none of them going to be a professional basketball player, but they all going to be, they going to follow their dreams. So I bring a psychologist, a nutritionist, a comedian.
That's great. That's so cool.
A swimmer, people that have succeeded in different areas so they can relate. Because like you say, oh no, look at him, how tall he is. So maybe I'll bring the smallest girl that plays professional in Europe to tell them the story and see how much she had to work in order to make it.
Right.
And then kids can relate. So that's the idea, because we believe that if I change, it's foundations, and we need everything. But it's foundations that, give the food, right? Give the food to the kids. But you're always gonna have to do that if you don't change their mentality.
Yeah.
So my vision is like, you change the mentality, and you can change your life in 2 minutes. Someone tell you something, and it changed their way of thinking, and you're like, oh my God. I have to do this. And then from there, your life changes.
Yeah, because we talk about that all the time. Like, it depends on, and it's great that it's not just you. You're like, hey, I played in Spain. Listen to me, change your life. No, but seriously, it's like, all three of us could tell one person here the same message. And just in our tone, just in our experience, that person can connect with one of us and change their entire life if they listen to these three messages. So, and we always talk about that. It's like, I've said that, we always have that with our family. I told my mom that 100 times, and this
somebody else.
I heard on CNN that there's this thing called COVID. Motherfucker, I told you.
That's true. That happens.
But that's what
So what's the name of your foundation?
It's called Encesta tus Sueños, which is kind of like make your dreams.
Yeah, make your dreams. Yeah.
Make your dreams. Encesta tus Sueños, and it's something that I'm happy that it happened the way it did, because it kind of built the character and the story of it as well. And each time more people want to be part of it. Now all players from overseas want to be in the camp.
Sweet.
Because it's just like one of the best camps in South America. Because we try to do it, at the biggest level. We had a big screen showing plays. We have scouting. We have everything. And we have artists come and perform at the end of the camp.
When's the next camp?
When you can come and play your guitar.
He's gonna be the opening act to the children.
Right. If I went, I'd be like there with the children.
Like, hello, children.
No, I've been trying to play basketball with them.
He'd be part of it.
Like, get out of here.
But that happened. We had a couple of artists that are like, oh yeah, come, and then you sing after that day, and they come with basketball gear. And they jump into all the exercises.
That's cool.
J Balvin apparently likes. Have you met him?
Yeah, we met J Balvin a couple of times, Maluma a couple of times.
I think J Balvin would kick Maluma's ass in a one-on-one. Hey, I think. J
Balvin, I saw him play at the All-Star game. Was it? No,
that's Bad Bunny.
That was Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny.
Okay,
Bad
all
Bunny
right.
can ball a little bit.
Let's put this poll out there. We're gonna do a one-on-one tournament. Tello, Bad Bunny, J Balvin, Maluma. Let's see who's gonna win this tournament. I want to.
Why is Tello
If any of you guys,
What are you doing?
Tello could take it could be 3-on-1 and he still win.
I guarantee you somebody's gonna go. Bad Bunny would kick Tello's ass. Bad Bunny put them little square glasses on and beat your ass in some. All right.
Balvin and Maluma, they're not really into basketball like that. They are the games, but in one video, Balvin is throwing the ball like that, and he goes in, but it's not like he plays
TikTok basketball. You don't like that?
His DJ.
Yeah.
Actually, he plays, and we train a couple of times. DJ Pope.
Is that the guy? Is that he raps also?
Really?
Huh?
Pope?
Yeah, he plays. Yesterday we were playing at.
That's the guy on your Instagram.
Juan Fernando Quintero's house, because Juanfer he plays more. He likes more basketball than soccer, but he makes millions playing soccer. So.
He does. He likes.
He got a basketball hoop, and Pope plays basketball, and we've been in the Ivan de Vedup practicing and having a good time. But Balvin and Maluma, he almost made it as a soccer player. Like he's really good at soccer. But basketball, it takes a lot more.
Yeah, it takes a lot more agility. You have to have hand-eye foot. You have to have more coordination for sure.
I hate all these guys, man. You're talking about Maluma could have made it as a soccer player.
Yeah.
So I can't make it at anything, Andrew.
In regards to Encestar un Sueño, how can people help if they want to help, either donate or even if they are a star or influential in their city? How can they reach out to you, and what can they do?
Encestatusueños.com, Encestatusueños on Instagram and Facebook. It's just, you can contact us, and we take any type of help.
Here's how we're going to help. Hey, Camilo, mi Dios te pague. Andrew and I'm going to sign his money up. We want a one-on-one. You against Tello.
That would be a funny one.
You can have your 3 million
Camilo's
followers.
Like this tall.
Yeah, he's not that tall. He's tall. The camera adds 10 feet. So Camilo's this short. Fuck you for calling me out about being 39. So you're going to play him one-on-one to 10 points, and we're going to do it as a charity event.
Te estamos desafiando. Vas a jugar a 10 puntos contra Tello. Tello, ¿cuánto mide Tello?
2'3".
2'3". Camilo, tú mides 3. Pero, ok, él tiene que encestar, él tiene que hacer 10 cestas. Tú solamente tienes que hacer 3. Si tú haces 3, ganas. ¿Y qué vamos a ganar? Si ganas, yo voy a dar $1,000 al charity, ¿cómo se dice charity? A la fundación de Tello.
Yo voy a dar 1,000 también. Pesos.
$1,000 a la fundación Incesta tus sueños. Pero si pierdes, tú tienes que pagar los $1,000.
You heard it now. I gotta cut this 60 seconds. We calling you out, Camilo. Bring
El
it,
desafío.
son.
3 points. 3
Yeah,
points.
got
That's
it.
3
Wait,
points.
we do it proper.
People get
We do it
lucky.
proper.
People could get
People
lucky.
Yeah,
get-
people like it.
No, get lucky.
We're going to be uploading this episode 41 next week. Thank you guys so much. Tello in the house, bro. It was an honor. It was so fun. My favorite episode
My favorite
ever.
episode. You fucking right. I love this fucking episode.
Best
Hey, man, I
episode
fucking love
ever.
this
Best
fucking
episode ever. Best
Hey,
episode
hey,
ever.
man,
Thank you.
fucking Yeah.
See you
Peace
guys
out.
next
Episode
time.
41.
Hasta
See you next
luego.
time. Ciao.
Nos vemos.
Yes, that was.
If you want to see Andrew in a skinny leopard print thong, please be sure to follow us and listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, or any other major podcast platforms. And Andrew, if they want to see our ugly faces, what should they do?
They could see us on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube for show.